Support for this podcast comes from Delmarva Power. Now you can make saving money part of your business with Delmarva Power's Energy Savings for Business program. Designed to fit every type of business, the program offers financial incentives that can cover up to 50% of the cost to upgrade to energy-efficient lighting, HVAC, and more. By using more efficient equipment, your business will save money every month on your electric bill for years to come. Learn more at delmarva.com/power savings.
It's another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, episode 2148, and I'm Dr. Neal. Hey there, happy Friday, and welcome to another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, where I answer your health questions related to fitness, diet and nutrition, and lots more. You send in the questions, and I answer them for you. And with that, I'm sure you're excited to hear today's question, so let's jump right in as we optimize your life. Now, today's question came via email, and it's super brief, but still super important. Amber writes, how much water should you drink? Thank you for taking the time to send in your question, Amber. Way back on episode 1351, I talked about some of the fancy body weight scales that are available now. These scales are so advanced that in addition to telling us how much we weigh, it will calculate our body mass index, or BMI, tell us our body fat percentage, how much lean mass we're carrying on our bodies, meaning how much muscle we have, and tell us about our body water percentage. Do we really need all this information, especially the information about body water percentage? When it comes to that specifically, I would file body water percentage in the don't pay too much attention section. This is because knowing our body water percentage doesn't provide us with information that's all that useful. The exception to this would be someone that's maybe under critical care in a hospital. But for those of us that are otherwise healthy and want to know if we're adequately hydrated, it's really not that helpful. That's because there are other more accurate ways to determine whether we're dehydrated. For example, there are blood tests we could look at. One lab test looks at how much sodium your body is holding on to. This actually can help determine a person's hydration status. Now, I've sort of modified my language here. I don't know if you caught it. I went from talking about water percentage to hydration status. If we think about these two concepts, water percentage and hydration status, they're technically different. To hydrate the body, we could drink water, or a sports drink, or juice, or coffee, or tea, or drink some soup, or eat Jell-O, or pudding. The list goes on and on. Believe it or not, all of these count towards our fluid intake for the day. But Amber, you asked about how much water to consume each day. So if we're discussing strictly water consumption, then that's a different story. There's actually an ongoing debate within the scientific community about how much actual water, not just fluids, but water we should consume each day. The Institute of Medicine went on record saying that they found it difficult to provide recommendations for water intake because overall hydration status may be most important, not just actual water intake. But since the Institute of Medicine kept getting pressured to make a recommendation, they determined that consuming between 2.5 to 3.5 liters of water per day is best for otherwise healthy adults. Those that were identified as female at birth probably need closer to 2.5 liters of water per day, whereas those identified as male at birth probably need closer to 3.5 liters of water per day. Now here's where it gets even trickier, and this is why the Institute of Medicine is having a hard time getting pinned down on water recommendations. What happens when the weather gets warmer or colder, or someone's an athlete, or someone spends all day on their feet as part of their job, or spends all day in the sun, and so on? Their water needs will change. So, beyond getting blood tests to determine whether you're hydrated or not, or measuring all of your water intake, the best way to know whether you're consuming enough total fluids per day, not just water intake, would be to look at the color of your urine. This is one of the best ways to determine hydration status. If your urine is a pale lemonade color, then you're adequately hydrated. If the urine is darker than that, you're probably dehydrated. The darker the urine, the more dehydrated you are. If your urine is clear, you may think it's a good thing, but you're actually overhydrating at that point, meaning you're probably consuming too much fluid. And if you consume too much fluid for longer periods of time, you're actually excreting vitamins and maybe even minerals. Oh, and to come back full circle, if someone does happen to have one of those really fancy body weight scales at home that measures body water percentage, I would ignore that and stick to looking at urine color instead to know whether you're adequately hydrated.
So you open Google Chrome on your phone, you're hunting for a super rare first edition vinyl of a band you're obsessed with, when you're supposed to be working. But this site you tapped on seems pretty shady. And Daryl from IT just jumped up from his desk. Oh no, he's coming your way. It's a good thing built-in malware protection keeps you safe and sound. Not from Daryl though, sorry. There's no place like Chrome. Download Google Chrome on your phone.
Looking for a scientifically tested and strategic way to improve your mental health? Then it's time for you to download Neurocycle. Neurocycle is a step-by-step program that you do over 63 days to identify and unwire toxic thinking habits, trauma, and limiting beliefs. The Neurocycle app also includes mini guides for in-the-moment challenges, such as a guide to help you work through panic attacks, a guide for parents to use with kids, and a guide to help you sleep better and longer. And for a limited time, get 50% off your first month subscription with code OHD. Go to www.neurocycle.app. That's www.neurocycle.app and click on Access Web Version to use promo code OHD so they know we sent you. This offer is only valid online. Thank you again for taking the time to send in your question, Amber. Now, if you want to send in a question to be answered right here on the show, you'll get a copy of our hardcover Optimal Living Daily Workbook shipped to you if you're in the US. If you're outside of the US, we'll email you a digital copy. Remember, you can email a question to health@oldpodcast.com, or if you want to hear your own voice on the podcast, come by oldpodcast.com/ask. Right on that page, you can record straight from your computer's microphone. It's really easy. You can even play back your message and do retakes before sending it in, or you can do it the old-fashioned way and call in your question. The number is 1-61-I-LOVE-OHD. That's 1-614-568-3643. Thank you again for doing that. Answering your questions is my favorite part of the show. All right, that's another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily. Thank you so much for listening every day and all the way through. I hope you have a great start to your weekend, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.